gained the romantic momentum, tried to change the subject. "Excuse me, are you tired?" Vicky sighed, a genuine weariness settling over her. "Oh, am I ever? I had to get up at 5 this morning to help the girls pack. And then I went right from there to the market to do my shopping, right from there to the restaurant." She stifled a yawn. "I'm excited." "Oh, poor Jack," he chuckled, pulling her closer. "Yeah, maybe we ought to go to bed." "So early?" Vicky feigned surprise, though her eyes were already drooping. "It's after midnight." Jack pointed to the clock on the bedside table. "It is," Vicky exclaimed, genuinely surprised. "Yeah, let's get to bed." Jack felt a fresh wave of nerves. This was it. The moment they had been building towards. He walked towards the bathroom, trying to appear nonchalant. Excuse me, just 1 second." "Where are you going?" Vicky asked, a playful smile on her face. "I have to undress my teeth," Jack blurted out, then corrected himself, a blush rising on his cheeks. "Brush my teeth." He quickly disappeared into the bathroom. Vicky giggled, then began to slowly undress, her movements graceful and unhurried. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the faint sound of Jack brushing his teeth. A few minutes later, she called out, "Jack, are you still brushing your teeth?" "Nope, all finished." Jack's voice came from the bathroom, followed by the sound of running water. He emerged a moment later, fully dressed in a crisp pair of pajamas, his hair neatly combed. Vicky stared at him, a quizzical expression on her face. "Good, are you going out? You're all dressed up." Jack cleared his throat, feeling inexplicably awkward. "Oh, well, no, it's just, I like to look my best at all times." He walked over to the dresser, picking up the champagne bottle. "Can I get you some more champagne?" "No, thank you," Vicky said, her smile fading slightly, sensing his nervousness. "Coffee, tea, cocoa," Jack rattled off, desperate to keep the conversation going, to delay the inevitable. "No. You're sure there's nothing I can get you?" "No." Vicky's voice was gentle, her gaze filled with understanding. "Okay, then, I guess it's time to hit the sack." She patted the bed beside her, inviting him. "Oh." Jack felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He slowly walked towards the bed, then stopped again. "Jack, hang on 1 second." He fumbled with his pajama top. "Don't need these, do I?" He pulled off his pajama top, revealing his chest, then quickly replaced it with another, identical one. Vicky watched him, a bemused smile on her face. "Jack, just a second, Vicky." Because Jack stammered, his mind a blank. "Sometimes it's all hard to get comfortable." He climbed into bed beside her, pulling the covers up to his chin. He shifted awkwardly, trying to find a comfortable position, but his nerves made him rigid. He accidentally elbowed her. "These poor people, how are you doing?" he mumbled, trying to make light of his clumsiness. Vicky giggled, a soft, reassuring sound. "A little slippery." She nudged him playfully. "Sorry," Jack apologized, his face flushed. Vicky turned to him, her eyes soft and understanding. "Jack, can I tell you something?" Sure." Jack's voice was a little shaky. "Promise you won't laugh." "No," Jack promised, his gaze fixed on hers. "I am so nervous," Vicky confessed, her voice barely a whisper. Jack's eyes widened in surprise. "You are." He had thought he was the only one. "Oh, yes. I can't stop shaking," Vicky admitted, a small, self-conscious laugh escaping her. "I thought it was me," Jack confessed, a wave of relief washing over him. He wasn't alone in his jitters. "I can't help it," Vicky continued, her voice soft. "This is a very special night." "Special, Vicky." Jack reached out, gently taking her hand. "This is the most special night of my life."
"Oh, Jack!"
Vicky's eyes welled up, her earlier nervousness replaced by a profound tenderness. "Hey, come on now." Jack squeezed her hand, his voice filled with newfound confidence. "There's nothing for you to be nervous about. You're with me." "Oh, Jack, you're so reassuring." Vicky leaned her head on his shoulder, a sense of peace finally settling over her. "Yeah." Well, Jack wrapped his arm around her, pulling her close. "You just relax." Just as they were about to finally succumb to the quiet intimacy of the moment, a loud, insistent knocking rattled the apartment door. Jack and Vicky sprang apart, startled. "Get out, Mr. Bradford," Jack shouted, utterly exasperated. The door, however, simply opened, and Mr. Bradford stood there, his face a mask of righteous indignation. "I didn't realize that you'd moved in already," he declared, his gaze sweeping over the scene with undisguised disapproval. "How did you get in here?" Jack demanded, his voice tight with anger. "My key," Mr. Bradford replied, holding up a gleaming metal key. "Your key?" Jack stared, utterly dumb. "Yes." Mr. Bradford's smile was chillingly triumphant. "Mr. Angelino gave it to me." "He what?" "Yes. About an hour ago, when I bought this building from him." "What? This building?" "Yes. Including the restaurant. Say hello to your new landlord." The words hung in the air, a cold, hard truth that shattered the fragile peace of their first night. Jack and Vicky stared at him, their faces a mixture of shock, disbelief, and dawning horror. Mr. Bradford, their new landlord, stood there, a smug, victorious smile on his face, ready to exert his control over every aspect of their lives. Chapter 6. The Landlord's Shadow. The following morning, the romantic glow of their first night had been thoroughly extinguished, replaced by the chilling reality of Mr. Bradford's new role. The champagne, now flat, sat forgotten on the nightstand, a bitter reminder of their interrupted intimacy. Jack and Vicky, bleary-eyed and frustrated, were already locked in a heated discussion over coffee. Jack was pacing furiously while Vicky tried to maintain a semblance of calm. "He bought the whole building, the restaurant, the apartments, everything," Jack railed, running a hand through his already disheveled hair. "He just waltzes in here, like he owns the place. Which, apparently he does. This is unbelievable." Vicky, though equally dismayed, tried to be practical. "Jack, we knew he disapproved. He's always been overprotective. But buying the building, that's extreme. Even for Dad." She sighed, rubbing her temples. The headache from the night's shock was already blooming. He must have been planning this for weeks, ever since he found out we were serious. "But why? What does he gain by this?" Jack threw his hands up in exasperation. "Does he think he can just evict us? Dictate our lives?" "He thinks he can control me," Vicky said, her voice quiet but firm. "He thinks if he's close enough, he can monitor everything, make sure I'm happy in his definition of the word, and that means away from you." The implication hung heavy between them. Mr. Bradford wasn't just a nosy landlord. He was an active antagonist in their burgeoning relationship. This wasn't just about privacy. It was about their very autonomy. The first week under Mr. Bradford's proprietorship was a delicate dance of avoidance and thinly veiled provocation. He would appear at the most inconvenient times, ostensibly to check on the property. He'd drop by the restaurant during peak hours, lingering at the counter, making pointed comments about the menu or the cleanliness of the kitchen, always with a critical eye. He'd find flimsy excuses to knock on their apartment door, usually just as they were settling down for a quiet evening. One afternoon, Vicky was studying for her nursing exams, spread out on the living room floor amidst a sea of textbooks. Jack was downstairs, preparing for the dinner rush. A sharp knock echoed through the apartment. Vicky, bracing herself, opened the door. "Victoria, darling," Mr. Bradford beamed, holding a small, potted plant. "Just checking on my favorite tenant, and I brought you a little housewarming gift. A peace lily, to symbolize the serenity I hope you find in your new home." His eyes, however, held a knowing glint that suggested anything but peace. Vicky forced a smile. "Thank you, Dad. It's lovely." "Just lovely, indeed." He stepped inside, uninvited, his gaze sweeping over the apartment. "Still rather sparse, isn't it? I could help you pick out some more suitable furnishings. Something more elegant, perhaps a nice chaise lounge for your studies." He eyed her textbooks with a dismissive glance. "Or perhaps a new hobby, something more feminine." Vicky bristled, but kept her voice even. "I'm quite happy with my studies, Dad, and Jack and I will furnish the apartment together when we have time." Mr. Bradford's smile tightened. "Ah, yes, Jock. How is our resident chef faring? I noticed a slight inconsistency in the last night. Perhaps he's a bit distracted." The implication was clear. Jack was a bad influence, and his presence was affecting not only Vicky's life, but his professional performance. Vicky's patience wore thin. "Jack is an excellent chef, Dad, and he's not distracted. We're both very happy here." "Happy, are we?" Mr. Bradford chuckled, a dry, humorless sound. "Well, as your landlord, I must insist on a certain